Hi, welcome back. Laura here with Deanna Pinto from Learning Matters. And we've been talking about many things, but the focus has been on students. And the reason that it works so perfectly with what I feel so passionate about is because it's an inner healing topic. Deanna sees things going on with students. It's her calling, it's her passion to help students over the hurdle, especially that students are facing today, unlike the hurdles that we had, and they were plenty.
Yes.
Right? So those of you that know me know that I have been offering an opportunity for a student to get a free scholarship to a workshop that Deanna is doing in June. And we're going to talk about that at the end of this video. But today what I wanted to focus on is you really have your fingers on the pulse of what is happening with young people today. And yeah, and I know you do. And when you share with me just some of the concerns, and I hear this wellspring of wisdom, but also compassion, I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell parents what they may not know, just in the busyness, and because our children are so secretive, right? So I would just love to ask you this one question. What do you see as the biggest emotional challenge for students today? And I'd like you to look in the camera, and I'd like you to tell parents what they need to be mindful of.
You know, you said the right word. It's really about mindfulness. So I created Learning Matters with that purpose, to really give parents and students a tool and help them unlock their potential. But to unlock potential, sometimes we have to go through that inner healing process to look at ourselves.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, I know that the troubles that I faced and the challenges that I faced were very different than what our children are facing now, especially with the rise of social media, the rise of this concept of success and achievement. There's a lot of pressure placed on them at a very young age to be and do things that perhaps in terms of development they're not even ready for. But if you ask me what is the number one struggle that I see that becomes a catalyst for every other emotional challenge they have, it's really connection. It's connection to self and connection to others. And so a lot of the students that I serve don't feel connected to their families, don't feel connected to themselves. They don't know what their purpose is. They don't know why they're hurting. They don't know why they're struggling with feelings of anger or feelings of anxiety or feelings of a sadness, right? And so they go on to social media, for example, and I know that most of you, probably parents, will say the same thing and complain, well, my child is constantly on social media. How do I get them to get off of that thing? And here's what I have to say about that is that the kids are really searching for connection. And so when you think about it biologically, there's a reason. Our brain produces this incredible feel-good hormone, which is dopamine. It's a chemical, right? And so when these kids are online, they're really searching for that true connection, and they really never get it because that connection is not real, right? So how do we get our kids to connect, right? I start the work with connection to self, right? Who are you about? What is your essence? What do you want? What is your vision? What are your gifts? What are you good at? What are you struggling with? How do we get you to the other side? And it's really about wellness all around. Our kids are struggling emotionally to feel, sometimes they are in a crowded space and they're still feeling lonely.
Yes.
And they're still feeling alone. And so that unravels a lot of other issues, behavioral issues in the classroom, bullying, relationship issues, promiscuity for young girls. A lot of them, because they are in the search for connection, they go on to promiscuous behavior at a very young age. And so I want to bring light to those issues, and I want to let parents know that these things are happening, and it's not necessarily a parent's fault or a teacher's fault, but it's a village fault. We are all responsible for our children and the core values that we're transmitting to them, but also the tools that we're providing them. I have children who I work with who have the best families, right? Yet they're feeling lonely and disconnected, right? Because they're being asked to perform. We are living in a society of performers who attains more, what Ivy League do you want to go to, however many sports you can get into, the better. And so there's this busyness going on where a lot of the teens and the children do not have really time to reflect and really understand who they are and what their purpose is in this world and how they can serve others.
Well, one of the things that I have noticed in our conversations over the last few years is that you not only, I don't want to say treat, though I'll use that word, you not only treat the symptoms that are going on in the hearts of these children, but you deal with the parents. And I find that to be so fascinating. It's like, it really is going back to the village. Yeah. It's like, it's not just you're working with the student and it's like, you know, just the two of you. No, it's like this village approach, you know, of like helping parents to understand. And we were joking earlier about sometimes both her and I are known to be disruptors, but we see that as a very positive thing. Yeah. I said to you that if I see something, you know, you're heading in the wrong direction, but I want to be so nice and quote unquote be your friend, and I don't warn you, then I'm the worst of your enemies. Yeah. That's terrible. That is. Whereas a person that can disrupt can say, like, wave the flag, like, you know, Lost in Space, warning, Will Robinson, warning, way before your time, but warning, Will Robinson, right? Yes. So I do love that because, again, this is your calling and it's your passion. You not only work with students, in this case, you know, we have workshops and she has different programs, but when you're working one-on-one with a student and you're pulling out, especially where they're in hiding, right? They're depressed. There's so many things that they're dealing with. I know that there's a healthy balance of how much you let parents know, but listen, parents, she will let you know. Yes. And she may challenge you.
Most of the time.
she will challenge you, and that's good, because where there's challenge, there's change. That's good. That's a bumper sticker. Let me write it down. Where there's challenge, there's change. And so we need people that help us shift.
Yes.
Right?
I call it conscious parenting.
Okay,
is that,
I like that.
You know, I do believe, and there's a doctor who's Dr. Shafali, that's her name, and she says something so incredibly genius and wonderful. She says, our children are not ours. They were a gift to us, one, to help us do our own inner work, but also they chose the parents so that the parents could help them do the work that they came to do in this world, right? God has given us the privilege to have specific kids, whether they are the troubled ones or the saints, right? But they all get the same opportunity to grow. And there are times when parents welcome the change and welcome the challenge, and there are parents who don't. And for those who do, those are the ones I want to attract more of, because I know they're ready for the tough questions, right? And the tough questions, it's like growth, like growing pains. When we're growing and our knees start hurting, right? And we tell that to our kids, hey, you're going through growing pains. It hurts. It's not comfortable. It's not easy, but it brings something much better, right?
But it means you're growing.
It means you're growing. And so for the parents who are not willing to do the work or are not ready for it, I also understand, you know, and I just tell them to keep listening, to come on their journey, to be open, and know that they're going to have a safe space and also have support. I don't turn anyone back, but I do challenge.
Yeah, everyone. I love that. I love that you love people enough to question, challenge, and help people move forward. Because listen, people know they're stuck. Yeah. They don't know why they're stuck, and you know, that's a passion for me as well, you know.
And just the concept of, I am really, really passionate, and I think it's because of what I've experienced in my life, of just generational cycles, right? We have the privilege, we have the responsibility of breaking cycles. If we see that something is not working, we have, once that veil is lifted and we are confronted with the truth, we really have the responsibility to move along and break that cycle, so that our children get better lives, and with that our communities get better lives, and with that our world changes. It's all about shift. You know, right. So it's a ripple effect.
Yeah, it is a ripple effect, and it's a universal ripple effect. Well, the next time that Deanna and I are on camera together, we're going to be talking about some of the different programs that you offer to parents for their students, for their children, but for students. But today I want to finish out just by saying that you are invited to be a part of the work that Deanna is doing in our community. one day she'll be in more communities, but right now we are in South Florida.
Yes.
And we have the workshop coming up. We talked about in Kendall. Is it actually Kendall?
You know, I don't know.
It's wherever the falls is.
It's wherever the falls is. Some people think it's Palmetto Bay. Others think it's
Palmetto Bay
Pinecrest,
/ Kendall.
It's the YMCA.
Okay. She has this workshop coming up. It would normally be $400. What she wants to do is she wants to offer a scholarship to a student to come and participate for free. And one of the ways that I want to join her in this is I want to sell the Master Gardener, but not to make any money from it, but to make every dollar that is purchased through the website, lauradani.com, for you to know that every dollar is going to go into Learning Matters and providing for scholarship. So students who would normally not be able to have this important work done have this opportunity to do that. And I mentioned before, and I'm going to say it again, is that what I love about this concept, this divine concept, is that when you go to lauradani.com and you purchase a book or more, I always think it's good to have one and give one away. I want you to know that in the memo, you get to put Deanna Pinto Scholarship, and that whether you're seeing this video today or in 6 months from now, you're going to be able to know that the books that you purchase are going to go to her cause, to her ministry, to her calling, to her passion. And we talked about in our last video is Deanna is a very educated woman. Now let me tell you something. That does matter because it opens doors, and I mention it not because God can't be the one who qualifies the called. Listen, sometimes we don't have any degrees and we're doing great work. But there's also women like Deanna who've put in the years, who have the degrees and the calling and the passion, and therefore they are greatly, greatly successful. So we want you to go into the Facebook, leave a comment if you want your student to be entered into the raffle to be able to be chosen on Sunday, May 12th, Mother's Day at 6 p.m. You'll get the news, somebody will get the good news that their student is going to be able to be a part of this 8-week program that would normally cost $400.
Yeah.
Now, here's what we also want to say. If a lot of books get sold, okay,
a lot of programs,
and I'm praying for a lot of books to get sold, that's a lot more scholarships. So go ahead.
I would like your 500 books to be sold.
We want 500 books to be sold.
500 books to be
But
sold.
imagine how many scholarships that would provide.
That would be such a blessing for so many kids.
Just so you know, we're partnering here.
Yeah.
The three, you, her, and I. What we're doing is partnering, not for ourselves. We're partnering for the good of our students, for the good of the world, for the good of our families, and for the good of our community.
Yes.
So thank you for listening. We're going to be doing one more video together. Yes. We're going to be talking about the different programs that you offer. Anyway, it's great having you today. Thank you so much.
So good to be here with you. Thank you.